while a day plan talks about or makes a note of what you'll teach your students, how you'll teach it to them, and perhaps how you'll assess them, there's more to a day plan than just that, because there's more to a teacher's day than just what they teach their students. So today we're going to look at a more holistic approach to creating a day plan so that you are on task and on track to completing whatever it is that you need to complete. Because let's face it, you've got meetings, you've got places to be beyond just teaching your students. So let's get right to it. The first step is the teaching portion. Let's start with that because that's what we know and that's what we do. Okay, so the first part is I want you to make a note of all the subjects that you're teaching your students, along with a brief description of what you'll be teaching them or maybe how you assess them. And if it's at all possible, write down approximate times of when you're going to be teaching it or the duration of each of those lessons. Because if a substitute teacher needs to fill in for you or admin walks in, they at least know what's going on at any given time. Okay. The next thing is if you're using any textbooks, make a note of those page numbers, and if you have any answer keys, include those as well. Okay. It would also be reasonable or a good idea to figure out when your recess time is, your snack time, and your lunch times are, and to make a note of those. And if you've got younger children, do they have specific designated areas on your field or playground that they need to be on? Perhaps make a note of that as well. Okay, that's your teaching portion. Done. Number 2 is the extras. So here we're going to look at beyond teaching, what do you need to make the teaching happen? Perhaps it's photocopying. Do you need to mark anything? Do you need to email people? Do you need to have any meetings with people? So all of those different aspects, make a note of all of those under perhaps an extra section. Okay. The next thing you're going to do, number 3, is prioritize. Now I'm not saying prioritize every single thing on that list because that becomes too much. So what you're going to do is take a pen or a highlighter and you're going to say circle or highlight three of the subjects that you need to teach that day. If all else fails, what are the 3 subjects you need to teach? You probably have 5 or 6 or 7 of them, but what are the 3 subjects, or if you're a high school teacher, what are the 3 main topics that you need to cover that day? Okay. The next thing you're going to be looking at is what are the 3 most important things, or under your extras column, that you need to accomplish that day. Is it mark this, photocopy this, and meet with this parent? If that's it, then those are the 3 you're going to highlight or circle. Because what I want you to do at the end of the day is if when you go home, I don't want you to feel like you've done nothing, because so many times we start with the easiest tasks and then we never get to the big tasks, and then it gets to be overwhelming at the very end. So what you're going to be doing is looking at what is the most important things. Everything else can wait. If you have extra time, you can work on it or move to the next day. All right. So that third step was prioritize. A fourth step is to digitize. Okay. And for Digitize, you don't need anything big and fancy. You don't need those expensive apps. All you need, give me one sec, is your phone. So on your phone, you have different apps like a calendar. I don't know if you can see that. You have apps like alarm systems. So all you need in this case are alarms or calendars so that you can know where you need to be. Do you have a meeting or a conference that you need to attend? Do you have to be on supervision at any point? So all of those little things, you want to integrate that as well. Extracurricular activities. And honestly, it'll just go off. So there are times where I make a note of things on my paper because I'm like, oh, this is really clever, I'm going to do this. However, what I've realized is if I don't make a note of it in my phone, it doesn't go off. Sometimes I forget if I'm on supervision because I might be talking to a student or I might be working on a different task. So this is one of the key reasons why I like to digitize as well. So let's go over what we've talked about quickly. We've looked at the importance of organizing our day beyond just the teaching. We've looked at teaching, but also beyond that. And then 4 simple ways of doing that is looking at first your teaching portion, then the next is your extras. And I've added more details on extras. Your prioritize, I've added a little bit more details on my blog for that. And the 4th is to digitize, okay? All of these are really simple. If you need any extra support with your planning for your teaching and your extras portion, so that you're a week ahead, I have a free resource that I'll link to in the description. And if you're looking at the blog post, this is the very end of the post. Okay? If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to contact me at any time. In the meantime, remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Thank you for joining me. Take care.